right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. So I want to welcome you all back. I didn't even get a chance to go grab coffee, but that's okay. I got a little bit left in my coffee mug. It's 4:30 in the morning, and you know, I literally drink coffee and water. Two things I drink. I drink coffee and water during the week. That's it. I don't drink anything but coffee and water. But I have to say I drink my fair share of coffee this time in the morning when it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Yes, I do. Okay, so we're going to get started because we have obviously retail sales happening like in the next hour. So we need to get through these charts. All right, so here's the euro dollar. Speaking of Gartley patterns, so we also hit 161% extension on the euro dollar. And take a look at this chart. 161% extension, and this is a complex inverted head and shoulder pattern. If you guys haven't noticed it already, it is. Okay, you can see it right there. Now that's just on the hourly, and if we get a little bit of a move here. Shoot, that's not what I wanted. We get a little bit of a move here. It's not a huge target, but we'll start a retracement. You know, that's really what it boils down to. So if we have weaker retail sales numbers, that would be the reason why. That would be the catalyst that creates the breakout, if you will. So that move would take us to 107, which makes sense, you know, because 107 right here. You can see how 107.10 resistance as it is. So we have 105 as support. Obviously, 105 is major support. Okay, we break 105.10 and it's going to get real. 1.0510. Okay, that is, in my opinion, major support. It's a golden fib, as you guys can see right here. Okay, it's a golden fib right there. All right, and I know that we have previous lows down here like 104.70 or something. My 2 cents is if we break that, we're breaking into new lows. Like there's not a lot to stop the there's not going to be a lot to stop the fall of the euro dollar if we do break. And if we do you know, break out here above this resistance, then you know we're going to target 107. But there's a couple levels of resistance that we have to deal with first and foremost. So first level of resistance will be right here. Okay, 106.30. Spike low over here, 106.37. So 106.35. 1.0635 and 1.07. Okay. Bias, we're still in a range environment. I know we can sit there and go, well, you know, we've fallen all the way down to we've fallen all the way down from 110 to 105, but you know, in all actuality, guys, we are still in a big range. I mean, that's it. You know, we're just in a big range environment. Okay. Lots of support down here, as you guys have seen on the monthly charts. Huge levels of support. I blogged about it on Friday. I don't have to rehash all of that because we've got way too much stuff to go through today. All right, so let's get over to the cable. So the pound was down a little bit today on the UK inflation data. CPI came in flat. That's good. You know, avoiding a deflationary situation. So the last couple of days, let's go over to the daily chart here. So we got this nice little hammer off of the, hitting new lows. We closed back above 146, 146.30. Today we tried to dip down to 146. We were already, making our way back up. So the point I think I want to try to make right now is dips below 146 are gonna or dips to 146 seem like they're being bought. So 146 is going to be support today. Okay, And I'm not, just so you guys know, sorry, I didn't mean to yawn on you, but just so you guys know, I'm not very comfortable buying the dollar here. Okay. I was comfortable buying the dollar when the euro was at 110. I'm not very comfortable buying the dollar down here at 10 when we're at 105, 106. The pound's trying to probe into new lows and it keeps bouncing. That now, does that mean I'm here to short the dollar? Well, I'm short the dollar yen. I haven't shorted the dollar against anything else. But I'll tell you, if we have a weak retail sales number today and we have a weak um, weak producer prices number that comes out today, I wouldn't be opposed to buying like the cable. I'm a little nervous buying the euro. I mean, I just got to be very frank with you guys. It's not like I want to be long the euro dollar. I'm a little scared being short down here, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous buying the euro with the situation in Greece. It is just it's it's making me very nervous. So with that being said, are there other dollar pairs I would trade? I might buy the cable. I might buy the Aussie or the Kiwi. I might short the Canadian. I mean, we'll see what the charts are showing us, but I will tell you, overall, overall, I'm a little nervous with gold. Gold and that Gartley pattern. Um, I'm a little nervous with the pound not slumping to new lows here. We're at channel lows too. I mean, here's the daily chart. You guys can really see the channel that we've had drawn out for a while. Okay, so let's go back to this 4-hour chart. So 146 is support. Resistance right now. Here, I'm going to take this line. I'm just going to move it over here. 146.90, and then 147.40. Okay, 146.90, 147.40. We are in a range. Again, what I'm most nervous about the cable here is these spike lows down here. You know, sorry, I had to answer somebody. Anyway, let's go over to where am I at? We did the cable. Let's go over to the Swissy. Okay, so the Swissy. I know we talked about this yesterday. We had the 127% extension rejection here. We dipped to one, or excuse me, 97.50. Didn't we write that? What did we write down as support? Can you guys tell me what we wrote down as support on the Swissy yesterday? What was the Nick is like, go get coffee. I have Sumatra brewing. We wrote 97.75, like right where we're at right now. Oh, damn. Why didn't we write down 97.55? Huh. Well, 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 obviously I miscalculated there. I'm fired. Fired, I tell you. 97.50 is huge support. Um, 97.50 is going to be really key support today. Now, if um, if the retail sales come in worse than expected, I'd expect the 97.50 level cracks is probably going to be a decent short. I'm always a little hesitant about trading the dollar Swiss to the short side because I really ultimately want to be long the dollar Swiss. But we're going to have to get through all these issues in Europe before I can really start buying the dollar Swiss. Let's go over to resistance today. Let me delete that. Delete that. See the problem with this right here? See that double bottom, right? Double bottom, breakout. We're in breakout territory. Problem is if you break below this support, that breakout is nullified. You see, if we break through that support, that nullifies that double bottom, which there's going to be a lot of stops through here. My assumption would be, okay. Resistance. Let's figure out where that's going to be now. This is just the 97.90. I mean, we're right there. You know, so I mean, I'm just gonna roughly say 98 cents. I don't. That's not great resistance. It's just resistance, if you will. Um, this is pretty key support. Okay. Yeah. So as I pointed out earlier, after the Hamada comments, 1950 major support. It's major support. Okay. Resistance now is that spike high. That was like a reaction high, so that's going to be resistance now, 120, basically 120.10. We are still in a range. As much as I don't want to be here, it is what it is. Dollar Canadian. Let me take a real quick look at crude, doing nothing at 52.50. I guess same as yesterday applies, right? This is a 38% retracement as held. Even yesterday, because we drew that out yesterday, and I'm assuming you guys wrote down 125.60, right? 125.60 on the dollar Canadian. The low yesterday was 125.61 and 0.6 of a pip, so I was off by 1.6 pips. Damn you, Blake Morrow. 125.60. Below there, it opens up a move to 125 because then that 618 comes back into view right there. You see it? So below here opens up here. 125, 120, oops, 1.2560. Resistance 126.65. Now that would be really lucky if we got up there. That them FX gods would be singing. You guys don't want me to sing the FX gods this morning, do you? Is it too early for FX gods? Is it too early? It's too early, isn't it? Oh, it's never too early? Oh. Well, you know, if we rallied to 126.50, it would be like, oh, the dollar Canadian reached 126.50 and it's set up for a great short. Whoa. You guys hate me. I know. It's that's what it's all about. I'm sorry if your speakers just completely just melted in front of your eyes, and that was my fault. I'll take the blame. 126. Bill says, Marie said, are the dogs howling? And no, but my dogs both, I have the big ones in here this morning, and they're both looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you making all that noise? We're trying to sleep here. All right, let's go over to the Kiwi. Yeah, if we can get a short, I mean, minus the Orthodox Church sounds. Yeah, if we can get a move up to 126.50. That'd be a decent short if we can get up there. All right, let's go to the Kiwi. So here's the Kiwi. Look at that. Looky there. So I think yesterday, and by the way, just so you guys know, I pulled my orders yesterday afternoon. I told everybody, I told you guys, look at this. By the way, I drew that yesterday. I said, we were down here. I said, if we get to 74.75, I'm going to short the Kiwi. Do you guys remember that? I did cancel my orders before I went home last night because I didn't like how the dollar was acting. I was thinking, the dollar's probably going to weaken a little bit. Look at how closely I drew this yesterday. Look how closely it followed. I mean, that was pretty good. I drew that yesterday. We actually surpassed 75. We went up to 84. So I was off by 10 pips there. Okay, but you can see it's really more or less the level that held us. Okay, so really important resistance now at 74.85. If we break that, you can see that spike high over here. If we break that, that's going to open up some upside. 0.7475. Okay. Now also keep in mind that 74 cents is a 161% extension. That's still going to be really key support on the way back down. So, I do think we are boxed at the moment between the 74.85 and 74 cents. Okay. There's a range, and Beth says window replacement service is needed. See, Lou, he's just begging. He's just begging right now. Lou, you're just begging. He's begging for the Smurf song, and I just don't feel like the Smurf song recently. I just don't. It just hasn't done anything for me. All right, let's go over to the Aussie. I thought about it, Lou. I was thinking about it. It's too early. Too early. Maybe a little later. All right, so here's the Aussie. So yesterday, we drew the same thing, right? I pulled those orders too. So we were down here yesterday at 75. This is an hourly chart. So we were at 75.60 or whatever. I said, hey, if we rally to 76.25, I'm going to short it. I pulled that order too. I did not get short the Aussie overnight. I should have, but I didn't because we went right to 76.23. I wouldn't have got tripped anyway. I had my order at, you can see the high right up here. Okay. We went as high as 123, 7/10 of a pip. I had my order at 126.24. I wouldn't have got tripped. But you can see it went right up to where we thought reversed. So This is pretty easy to identify that that is resistance, 126 and a quarter, or 76 and a quarter, 76 and a quarter. And support. Look how important that support level is. I mean, this is when we hit a new 52-week low, right? 52-week low, major support. So that comes at 75.50. All right. From there, I'm gonna do the dollar index when I get back, and then we'll take a look at the peso and the Nordic currencies for you guys, and then from there, I'll take some questions. So thanks everybody for being here. I'll be back in just a few short minutes, and we'll remember we got retail sales in a half an hour. Don't go anywhere. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. So let's take a real quick look at the dollar index really fast. Okay, so here's the dollar index, and I think first and foremost, let's go to a 4-hour chart. Okay, so my master plan on the dollar has been really looking for a move up towards the 127% extension. Going into last week, I'd really been thinking that, as we were breaking through here, I was thinking that the dollar was going to squeeze a little higher based on, it was going to squeeze a little higher based on just too many traders that were just trying to fade the dollar, fade its strength. But we reached 100 in the dollar index, and we've stalled there. And I don't know if this is going to come to fruition out to the 127% extension. I was ultimately looking to short the dollar up at those levels. I'll have to go back and revisit that thought process if we hit new highs. But we have this double bottom, okay, extends out to the 127% extension, okay. But the problem that we've got right now is that we're developing this this head and shoulder pattern. You can see it right here, just as you can with the euro dollar as well. And this is just a setup. It's not in play. It's not in play unless you break a neckline, which this is the neckline. It's very symmetrical at the moment. You guys can see it, right? The symmetry. Very symmetrical. I should set this. I should send this out too, because this is really very important chart that you see here on the dollar index. But here, let me do that. So you can see that this hourly head and shoulder pattern. It's all about the neckline. So at 99.20 is really, really key. Let me erase that. Okay, that is really critical. If that breaks, if that breaks, then the head and shoulder patterns in play. That's going to take us right back down to what, 98.50, maybe somewhere down here. Okay. Resistance right at this moment is 99.70 and then 100. And above 99.70 would negate a possible head and shoulder pattern. Okay, and we are in a range. So let's see, DXY hourly. Head and shoulder pattern set up only. Because it's a setup. It's not an actual. It's not in play. It doesn't go into play until, the dollar index doesn't go into play unless you break 99.20. That's why 99.20 is so important here. Okay, tweet that so everybody else can see it. But yeah, below 99.20 is when it really exposes. All right, let's take a real quick look and see if there's anything super important happening in the peso. Oh, peso's coming under a little bit of pressure, huh? Here's the daily chart. A little false break of resistance. That. Yeah, a little false break of resistance overnight. Nothing too clean there. Here's the Norwegian Krona. Key resistance right there. Did not break. Hold on really fast. Huh. Interesting. Hold on. Okay. This is the US dollar Norwegian Krona. Ultimately, if we could get this just stopped shy of a Garley. Right there. We would have got just and even if we do, if we get a little bit higher of a push, but we're gonna have some pretty major support coming in on the Norwegian Krona. Let's go over to the Swedish Krona. This one concerned me yesterday. See that inverted hammer, shooting star, whatever you want to call it. Long wick, false breakout. Same little doji today. So watch the U.S. dollar Swedish Krona if that breaks down. Okay, if that breaks down today post retail sales, producer prices. Okay, watch for a bit of a pullback there. All right, I think I'm just going to leave it at that. So there's your bias chart, and let me see if I can take some questions this morning.